This is the Savvy Investor radio show and podcast. For help with your retirement, schedule a 15-minute phone conversation with the team at ProStatus Financial Advisors today. Just call 866-597-1040 and at thesavvyinvestorradio.com.
The so-called 4% rule of retirement is about 30 years old now, and you're laughing already. You're laughing already. New research.
I saw that on the internet.
This coming from the American Council of Life Insurers. It says it right here. Gave the rule a stress test and found that it failed for older ages, resulting in the lowest income over time. So, and I know you're dying to talk about this. So what do we need to do here so we can shield our income against market volatility and longevity risk? Because we need this money to last.
Well, first and foremost, the guy who created it, his name is Bill Bengen or something like that. I don't remember his last name exactly, but something like that. And he has basically disavowed the rule. So he came up with this rule 25, 30 years ago.
Well, it worked 25, 30 years ago when the stock market was just going gangbusters.
Right. And so life has changed. And I kid you not. So here's what the 4% rule says, is that if you take a look at your portfolio every single year, at the end of the year, you can take out 4% of whatever the value has grown to, and you can adjust it for inflation every single year. And that's how much money you could take out. And statistically, in theory, according to Bill's original calculations, you would never run out of money. And so that's the idea. So people have for years, and even like the Fidelity websites and the Schwab websites, they have a calculation similar to that says, here's what you can do. Well, first and foremost, Bill made it clear that that was a rule of thumb, right? A rule of thumb. So just like when you go to a doctor, you don't want the doctor to say, as a rule of thumb, if you're having chest pains, we do open heart surgery. That's not what you want to hear, right? You don't want it to be as a rule of thumb. You want the doctor to do whatever tests he needs to do to make sure that you actually need heart surgery. And I know I'm kind of being an extreme example there, that like heart surgery. But this is like heart surgery, because like that insurance company, whoever it was that did the analysis there, running out of money, I'm pretty sure the technical term is sucks. I mean, running out of money before you run out of time. I'm pretty sure I read that in one of my tests I had to take, or continuing education classes I had to do. I'm pretty sure sucks is the word we want to use. And so here's the thing. If you sat down with somebody and they told you you could take 4% out of your portfolio each and every year, and statistically you would never run out of money. First and foremost, statistics tell us whatever story we want to believe. But more importantly, if you've heard that, if that's what you're doing now, you absolutely need to pick up the phone and give us a call, 866-597-1040, 866-597-1040. Sit down with Ryan, myself, and our team. We will show you how to create income streams that you will actually never outlive. We will, not statistically, that you will never outlive. We're going to show you how much risk you're taking, the fees you're paying. We'll talk about long-term care, estate planning, and obviously taxes. We hate the fact that people lose 20, 30, 40% of their income each and every year to taxes. So stop doing that. But it all starts by picking up the phone, 866-597-1040. You know, I don't like to admit this very often, but we actually got kind of fired by a client. He was so mad at me. Yeah, I mean, it was interesting. He had just came aboard. He had just come aboard. He actually came from a podcast. He was up in Michigan. He had been listening to the show and on the podcast, and he came aboard from it. And it was an interesting story. So we sat down with him and his wife, and they're about 6 years apart, and we came up with a really great strategy. They had some Social Security, had very small pensions, and we were creating the income stream that they wanted, right? But so they had the income that he said he wanted. That's what he told us. Here's how much money I wanted. And it was right around $150,000 after taxes, when that incorporated everything that they needed. And it incorporated the income from his Social Security. So I don't know if I told you the story, Ryan. So here's what happens. We're sitting down for the allocation conversation, right? So we've created the plan. We told him exactly what we're going to do, how we're going to do it. And part of the plan was he wanted to make sure, and they had enough money to do this, he wanted to make sure there was basically $100,000 a year for 5 years to take care of him for long-term care when the time came, because he thought that $100,000 plus the Social Security adjusted for inflation would pretty much take care of him, and $100,000 a year plus her Social Security would take care of her, and plus they had the houses back up just in case. So that was kind of their goal, and we incorporated that into the plan, right? So thinking about that from that perspective. So we're doing the allocation meeting, and he says to me, I was walking back through the income and started talking about how we're going to allocate it. And he says to me, well, wait a minute. I want to make sure I'm taking out 4% of my portfolio every year. And I kind of stopped and I said, 4%, where that came from. And I kid you not, he did that. Well, I read it on the internet first. And then I talked to somebody from Fidelity, and then I talked to somebody from Charles Schwab, and then I talked to somebody from Vanguard, and then I went to a dinner seminar, and I'm thinking to myself, you hired us for the right reasons, and now you're talking to all these people.
So he was hung up on the 4% rule.
I was hung up on this 4% rule, and I said, well, let's look at that 4% rule. First of all, if we do the 4% rule, that's fine, but statistically, when you both die at age 95, if things go wrong, if everything goes right, we have money left over. But if things go wrong, we could be running short. And he's like, no, Fidelity told me I would absolutely be fine. And I said, but that 4% rule, and that's what he said, and I'm like, the guy has said it doesn't work. First of all, it wasn't designed for somebody at 58. He did not say a 58-year-old could take out 4% for the rest of his life. He said this is a rule of thumb, and as the older you are, the bigger the number can be. But at 58, 4% was not the number. And I tried to explain that to him, and he was stuck on this 4% rule. So, and when I showed him, I said, first, think about this. We're close. We're there as long as everything goes okay. But if things go sideways, we have a problem. You're running out. That's one concern I have. And explain to me how the 4% rule works if you both are in a nursing home, because that 4% rule doesn't allow you to take out an extra $100,000 a year. Because remember, we still need the income for you while she's in the nursing home, and we need $100,000 a year for her to go in the nursing home. That's more than 4%, no matter which way you cut it. No, Fidelity said I could do 4%. Now I'm picking on Fidelity because that was the one he said he talked to somebody that worked with Fidelity, and so literally at the end of that, he said, you know what? I don't think this is the right fit for me because I want to take 4%. And and on one hand, I was flabbergasted because, the numbers are there. You can't mistake the numbers. Logically, you did not account for $100,000 a year because 4%, you taking 4% out plus $100,000 is no longer 4%, right? That's not the number, but that's what he insisted he wanted to do. And I was talking to Faisal, one of the other advisors in the office. I think, well, maybe we dodged a bullet here 20, 30 years from now when this guy is running out of money because he's taking his 4% plus 100,000 for her. And he's screaming at us, you let me take out 4% per year and I'm running out of money, which is exactly what that insurance review did, right? It said that old people are going to run out of money if they follow the 4% rule and have no flexibility with it. So if you want solutions, if you want honest conversations where we are just bluntly truthful with you about what you can and can't do. If you want a sales pitch, absolutely go to those other guys. Go to a dinner seminar where they sell you dinner so they can sell your product. If that's what you want as a sales pitch, that's not what we do here. We are financial planners. We look at everything. We look at the tax implications, the risk you're taking, the fees you're taking, the income. We look at everything as a true holistic planner. And a good friend of mine, Abe, he uses this terminology, phase 2 fiduciaries. And the way he describes it, and I just thought this was such a great description. There's a lot of guys out there, a lot of people out there, a lot of women out there that are really great helping you create and grow wealth. So they showed you how to get that nest egg built for you to get to age 50 and 60. But it's phase 2 fiduciaries like Ryan and myself and our team, where we truly focus on this side of your life. Yes, you still need growth, but your whole portfolio can't be about growth because you know what? On average, every 3 or 4 years, the market drops 20%. On average, the market drops about 40% every 7 years. You can't do that during retirement. You are guaranteed. I'm doing air quotes because, you can't say guaranteed, but, you're guaranteed in air quotes to run out of money if you go with that approach. So phase 2 fiduciaries say, we want to make sure we're taking the right amount of risk. We have the income secure. We're paying the least amount of fees. The taxes are as low as possible. Estate planning, long-term care. That is exactly what we do. Pick up the phone, 866-597-1040, 866-597-1040. Sit down with Ryan and myself on our team, and we will have a very candid, blunt conversation with you about how to create those income streams that you and your spouse's significant other, you'll never outlive. We're going to talk to you about fees. We're going to talk to you about estate planning, long-term care, how much risk you're taking, and taxes. We have an incredible opportunity with this election with Donald Trump that we can extend out the tax cuts so we have even more time to take advantage of the tax rules. Pick up the phone, 866-597-1040.
They'd Advisory services offered through ProStatus Financial Advisors Group, a registered investment advisor. Insurance licensed in Maryland. ProStatus Financial Advisors Group, LLC is not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if ProStatus Financial Advisors Group is licensed in your state, please call 410-863-1040. ProStatus Group, LLC is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through representatives of ProStatus Financial Advisors Group.